Okay, welcome back everyone. Second video of this channel, see how things are going. This is last week's project. You can still sort of see this is the side that has been treated and this side's not. I've had them out in the weather. I know it's only been 5 days, so not a huge, nothing to show. Actually, you can sort of see it's got that sort of matte finish on it on the side that's been treated. But I've got some water here. I was expecting it to be more of a beaded up based on the video. I mean, it's not soaking in, but it's not, you know, there used to be a car wax called Rain Dance. They had big commercials about how the water would just bead up. But this doesn't, I guess it's beading some compared to, you know, over here on this side, where it splatters out more and soaks in pretty quickly. So it is sealing up, but like I say, I guess I was expecting a little more dramatic. I'll grab some paper towels here. You know, show, but I also thought after the fact that on the wood, I know you're supposed to leave the bottom untreated when you do it, like on a deck or something, so you can breathe or whatever. So I'm gonna go do another coat on the top and hit the sides. And in other news, I interacted with a couple of people in the comments section. They pointed out something that I should have obviously known. Put it in a glass bottle. I mean, polystyrene is plastic, and I'm trying to melt plastic in a plastic jug. Duh. That's my nincompoop move of the week. It just didn't even occur to me that, hey, that might melt your jug. But like I say, I have bought some glass jars now, so got it, stored more safe. Still, this stuff is pretty heavy-duty stuff, so make sure you read all the precautions like I didn't last week. But well-ventilated area is the most important part, and like I said, the scent isn't overpowering like you'd expect it to be on something with this kind of properties. But I can definitely see it being one that would sneak up on you, so to speak. Let's say, get a little more, like I say, on the sides too. See, really, where I cut it here, especially, get all those pores that covered up. And we're going to move on to the super glue and baking soda that I put in the thumbnail momentarily. But this is sort of my plan on these projects that have long-term stuff. I'll give you updates at the beginning, and then we'll move on to the real project after the fact. I gotta say, this stuff, it goes on super smooth, nice and clean. Especially, I say, this side here where it's rough is not as nice, but it's soaking in pretty good. Of course, I'm trying to not spread it onto my actual skin. One of the things, what kind of gloves do you wear on when you got something that'll soak through most of the materials? Let's see, I already done two sides. Let's see. Mop it up here on the edge, and maybe I can get. Oh well, I'll wash my hands real quick before I go into the super glue project. Okay, there we go. I want to get most everywhere covered. Give it the best opportunity to seal everything up. And now I'm gonna put it back outside. I'll probably go, while I'm here, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit the top of the rock a second time. Just I'm going. I might as well go all out. Make sure it's got as good a seal as possible. But I thought about what must be happening is that the components of the polystyrene are getting spread out here, and while the xylene will evaporate, so it's just going to basically leave, I'm assuming, a coat of plastic, a really thin coat of plastic on the surfaces, and that's what's really doing the sealing once it's all dried and, like I said, evaporated the other components. But like I said, I just want to give it every opportunity to really seal up, and like I say, I'm going to leave it outside in the weather we had a little rain. Well, I actually had a lot of rain the other day, so it did. I'm just. Maybe I should get like a spray bottle and attempt to put that on there just to see if that's any more, get that effect that I'm looking for. But that's more than 5 minutes on last week's project, so that stuff. Let's see here. Get a hold of everything. So let me set this stuff aside and grab this week's project and see how that goes. Okay, so I don't know if y'all have seen them or not. I'll link a couple of them in the description, but there's these videos where people take baking soda and super glue and basically fill in holes, and it acts sort of like, almost like an epoxy substitute, which makes sense, you know, considering super glue's consistency and property, but it seems like it's almost an instant bond once you add the baking soda in, and it acts sort of like a filling agent too, so it takes up the space. And the really cool ones I've seen, which I say I'll put them in the description, it shows them making a mold out of hot glue, putting like a gear in, and making basically a copy of the gear, which is something I'll try and do next week. I looked around and I couldn't find it. The only gear I could find was like a teeny tiny little bitty one, which really was not effective. Oh, here it is right there. This was the only stray gear I could find, which wasn't really, I tried to do that, but it wasn't really effective with that size. I couldn't get the mold to work properly. So if this works this week, I'll try and do that in, you know, on the 15th, which I'm going to start up that 1st and 15th. You know, standard baking soda picked up at the dollar store, hadn't been opened or anything yet. Same with I got the three super glues. I got this is what I think of as super glue whenever I, you know, even though I hardly ever use this stuff like this, I always buy it in the bigger bottles. This is what I think of when I say super glue. Got the Gorilla Glue, which is more liquidy. This is, you know, gel liquid, and this is thin viscosity. I don't know if you can sort of see it sloshing around in there, how good that moves around. And that one actually came with little tubes to apply it with, which I thought was interesting. But I've got a metal bracket, and just drilled some holes here. You know, obviously not all the way through on these, and if it works good, I'll get ambitious and try and fill in these big holes and see how that goes. But just gonna, you know, try all the different super glues. I'm gonna start with this one just because it's, you know, not, you know, just want to see how it works, just filling the holes in. So, open here, and gotta get back just a little bit. Yeah, about a teeny tiny spoon. Yeah, that is. I wonder how long it's been on that shelf now. Break it up a little bit. Let's get some. Let's see, just now the way I saw the video, they just fill it in, tamp it down. Maybe try and make sure everything's, all the crevices are filled in. So. And add the super glue, and add more baking soda as the need arises. So let's come on down in on this. Now I'll just go with the standard crazy glue right off the bat. Crack that in there at the top, and yep, you're going. I have fairly low expectations for this thick stuff, because it's just sitting right on top of the glue. It's not right on top of the baking soda. It's not absorbing in or anything, so that's probably a bad choice. Move on to the next one here. Let's just break this stuff up a little bit so get some in there. And now, while I'm doing that, it's not going to absorb in. Let's put it on top of it and see what happens with that. If it absorbs into that. to the Gorilla Glue, which is sort of the midline. I'm thinking she should be able to do drops on this one. If I can get. Yeah, maybe going too far. Maybe I should use less of it in the. Maybe I should be using, letting it fill up from the bottom, maybe. 'Cause that's. I was expecting that to at least soak in a little bit. Okay, but let's see. I've got 6 holes to go with, so I can play around with my formula a little bit. That's the same thing. That doesn't appear to be going anywhere. Let's put some on top and see what happens with it, to that one as well. Okay, now this one. Just for the sake of consistency, I'm going to do the same thing here. Just fill it up, and all the crevices are filled in. I think to make it even. And then our liquid, our thin viscosity. Since I got the tube thing, let's see what happens with that. I've never used one of these before. Okay, now that, like you'd expect, did soak in. Let's see if they're soaking into the wood as well. Okay. Let's see. On top of that. Oh, can't you tell which side's up on that spoon? Spatula, I guess. Okay. And okay. Well, I think we got a winner as far as the bonding, but like I said, I think it's a bit too thick. But I'm going to continue, let's say, do a half full on this hole. Or maybe not half full, but not all the way full anyway. And back to the original. Let's pop some of you in there. Okay, now that seems to be soaking in a little bit there that time. That's more the reaction I've seen on the videos. Let's put some on top of it as well. Alright. Okay, so that may be the issue. You can't go from the top, but to go from the bottom maybe. Over time. This guy. Check out the rest of this stuff. Just a little bit more on there. Into the Gorilla Glue. A few drops in there. A drop. Okay. That's just not soaking in at all. Which is surprising, because I love me some Gorilla Glue. It feels like it almost feels like a gel too, even though it's okay. And then last hole I've got here. Let's see what happens with a little bit there. And thin viscosity stuff. say that's a definite improvement on that. Put 2 layers of that, see if it did actually work from the top. Let's see if I can. That was an interesting little reaction that popped out there. That's okay, it's outgassing something, it seems like. Okay. Looks like it's finally soaked in on this Gorilla Glue, so let's throw some on top of it as well. May have already dried, be too long, too late, but okay. Now let's go back all the way to the other end. Let's see. Okay, that's just gooey. It's not even. Yeah, it's still, the interior is still wet on that one. Let's see this thing. Okay, it did get solid. Let's say on the stuff sitting on the surface. It seems like a solid. Okay, and it's gooey on the inside. Now this is the one I think is going to be. Let's say that's fairly solid. I don't know that I would probably do more layers and build it up than sand it down before I tried to do anything significant with it now. These are the ones we went from the inside out. Okay, it didn't bond with the stuff I put on top. Bottom does feel solid there. And our Gorilla Super Glue. Okay. Same thing. It's got a crust around it. It's not really. This one, yeah, that feels rock solid as well, even with it. This is the one that I think I could actually sand on if I wanted to. Let's see if I can. That's being sanded on down. Even the interior is nice and solid on that. So I think that like I say, the thin. If you want to play with this, that thin viscosity stuff, is definitely the way to go. I wish I had a coarser. I wish I thought to bring up a coarser piece of sandpaper rather than this using this old. Came with one of my other projects that on a different channel. Like I said, that's solid straight through. If I had time to sand it down, or a machine sander, I would definitely be. And let's see if I how much this stuff dumps. Okay. Yeah, let's say that definitely. That thin viscosity stuff is definitely. This one did okay with it. But you can see there. I don't know if you can see it. It didn't absorb all the way through, so it's definitely the thin viscosity stuff is where it's at as far as getting this stuff to work. And evidently do it in layers. If I hurry, let me see if I can fill in a hole on metal. First thing I'm gonna do, cover up the bottom of the hole with some tape. Got some gaffer tape here. That should be, I think, I'm not going to do the whole thing, just 1 or 2 holes maybe. And then a little bit at the bottom of each one of these. I was wanting to get under 20 minutes, but I don't guess I'm gonna. Now I wonder about the metal being different temperature characteristics. It'll expand and not work with this over time, but this one, it also means the metal won't absorb up the super glue like the wood did, although the tape at the bottom will. Let's see, more in. Okay. Keep trying to pick that up to scoop it. I wish I'd remember what I bought. I cut this bracket off of something, but I don't know what. But I can drill it out if I have to. I mean, just like that, it's already solid. And let's see. Yeah, it's do a little more. Drops on top here, I think. Yeah, this is a fun little thing, I'll say. It's sort of epoxy-ish, epoxy adjacent, I guess you'd say. And it's already almost instantly dries. Must be some reaction to go with that baking soda. I don't know if it's just that it's drier. How's the bottom look? Okay, this one looks soft. Let's see if that didn't get enough glue in there to bond that one. But this one, that's perfect. Okay, that's a cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play around with this a little bit more as we go along. And I guess if I want to, I can throw some more. Now that I got this side closed out, just pop you in there. We're on top. That's solid. Alright, that's okay. That's pretty cool. Like I say, just a fun little thing. I saw it and said, how easy or hard is it? But like I say, we'll probably play around with this some more at some point, I'm sure. I'm having too much fun with it tonight. And put the glue back up and see if that keeps. But anyways, thanks for watching, folks. So make sure and subscribe if you want to get updates on what I'm doing here, and plus all the other projects I'm gonna hopefully find. I'm having fun little DIY. I guess they're hacks, but I say that's. Now you know if you want to play with this stuff, you gotta buy the thin viscosity super glue to really make it work. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, I hope.